Are we just gonna start? Or
Yeah, why not?
sure.
So, what track is this, Mickey?
So this is the Neostorm track called Neo Warp Drive version 2. It
Version
was made
2.
by Animax.
Ooh.
Mhm. Yeah, there was a version 1 before this that was a little bit more brutal. This one is smoother, and it looks very smooth, but if you want to master it, it actually starts to show its fangs, as you can say.
Yeah,
There are
gotcha.
some... It's like straights that lead straight into sharp turns that you have to really look out for and prepare. And some wall-less U-turns. You can see some from this angle. And you can just take the long route and not, fall off. But if you really want to push yourself forward, you should take those slope inner parts. And here we go.
Ready for some
Syndicate
thrills
and
and
Neopron.
spills.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We can see Animax, that's the track creator.
Ah,
Not
yeah.
forget Xeno.
I hear he won the very first world race.
Um, yeah, something like that. The very first race of the first season, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're off. He's a top contender for sure. He's a really good driver, even though he's using we can see him right now. That particular car, as you can see, only has one boost pip, as some call it, or charge.
Yeah,
So it
you'd
is
have to
difficult to make
conserve
it
that
go
and use that
fast.
cautiously, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. So your track knowledge is important. Luckily, he designed this track, so he should really know
Ah,
what he's doing.
insider knowledge.
Oh, and you could see me do a little bit of a kickflip
Oh,
there. And Zeno as well. Just those turns are brutal with 12 people going in.
yeah,
But
absolutely. There's not much room for error there.
absolutely. And you can see Jodo and Corpseless up ahead. These two,
Oh, that was
in the first
smooth.
race, oh yeah, these two guys know what they're doing for sure. Corpseless had been winning pretty much every race, except for one, but he's pretty much won every race he's been in. And Joda is just a very talented driver, the best we have on our team, the Syndicate.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. We're going to the quad loops. That's a very nice section, just visually beautiful. Going with the warp drive theme.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you get to jump through it just like that. And look at Soul Crusher right behind Joda and Corpseless, the two people up in the podium, the two best racers. And Soul Crusher has had pretty poor luck so far, so it's nice to see him up on the podium already. We'll see if he can keep that position.
Yeah, absolutely. That commitment and drive seems to be getting him up there. For as tight as those turns are, I'm surprised. Oh, spoke too
Oh,
soon. I was going to
uh-oh.
say I'm surprised that there's only been one little bit of push and shove.
Yeah, those are dangerous. And as you just show right there, Animax had some trouble, but luckily he recovered. That was,
That's
well,
one thing
some
that I'm
skill in his
very
head, also
impressed
luck.
by is when there's spills, people still seem to recover and stick it through, which is very impressive.
That's very, very impressive. Losing your cool is very easy in a situation like this when everyone is pushing their hardest. I mean, look at Joda. He's just way up in front. Trying to catch him up and the pressure of trying to just get up there competing with these guys can really get to you. And a crash or two will bring your morale down. So it's important to keep that in mind and push forward.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
Joda's still winless for this season, but he's looking real confident in this one so far. Oh,
confident indeed. He almost hits that, but just barely misses it. Great job. Uh-oh. Speaking of hitting, oh
oh
no.
no!
Soul Crasher lands right on Ivanovich's power rocket and spins him around.
That was very unlucky.
He was third place, now down to 11.
Do you think he can
And
pull it
now for
back?
we'll see. It's he has his work cut out for him. And Ivanovich and Norton are up here fighting for third now that Soul Crusher's
Oh,
out.
look at that
Hopefully he can.
overtake.
Ah, that was beautiful. This part is dangerous because you go from that turn right into that wheel. We saw Jodo almost hit it, so you really have to look out for it. And you can see me fighting Animax here, right in front of him. He is a track designer of their team, and I was a track designer of our team. So this is
Yeah.
a fight I was looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you finding the design on this one as you were racing?
Well, it's like I said, it's deceptively smooth. It looks very smooth when you first play it, but when you start doing time trials, and especially in a race with more people on it, these turns show how difficult they can be, especially if your car is the best turning car. And mine's a bit of a dragster.
Gotcha.
But But I do like it, and his team has a bit of a space theme to it. So if you like bend your imagination a little bit, and imagine like these are like anti-gravity fields in space with the warp drive with the yellow quads. It's actually kind of a nice visual design to it.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it definitely has that cyberpunk kind of vibe to it.
Absolutely. And Joda and Corpses are still fighting. Usually one of these guys will pull ahead and the other one, if they're in the same race together, I guess, won't really catch up. Except in the first race where Joda was up ahead and Corpses actually managed to catch up and take the win.
Oh,
But this
wow.
time, Syndicate, yeah, we're bringing our A game. We'll see if Joda can keep his first position this time.
Yeah, it's always much more fun to watch them fight it out, and looks like we're gonna have no shortage of that this race.
Absolutely. Pretty much every position, even back at 11th, people are really fighting for their positions.
Absolutely, like the positions are changing quite rapidly, so it's it's really is anyone's game.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, we're going back into the warp drive. You can see some like tumbling around. Even though it looks straight here, the way loops work is funny. They're more like a very slight S, so you have to still steer your car when you're in them.
Yeah, oh
You can
look,
see
even just
Norton.
watching, I was feeling disoriented. So it really speaks volumes about the talent of the drivers. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And you could see Norton taking the inner slope there again. That's a risky maneuver. If it pays off, you'll pass a bunch of people, but if not, you can fall off and look out for that.
Oh well, as they say, you got to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah. See Turbo Zeno. You can see a lot of people going to these turns, trying to take them smoothly, not take each other out.
Yeah, and look, that's one thing that, as I
Oh,
say, oh,
this is a
speaks
nice cross section
for
here.
these drivers is that it's that they make it look easy. The amount of times I've watched a race and gone, "Oh, cool, I'll give that a go," and just gotten absolutely annihilated. So I really hope people at home are appreciating just the level of talent that they're bringing.
That's true. That is true. It's hard to tell by just looking, but steering these cars at such fast speed competitively next to each other is actually pretty difficult.
And especially with teammates, like having to look out and make sure that you're not, that you're maximizing the team points. It's not just anyone's game. You've got to really, really make sure that that you're all getting as high points as possible.
That's absolutely true. We were looking at Norton just now, and he has a bit of a infamy for taking out his teammates, but
Norton the
hence,
Destroyer.
absolutely. There he is again, trying to take those inner slopes. Uh-oh. What's
Oh
going on here?
no,
No, he hits the wheel.
that was
No,
so
he's going.
close.
What's that? He starts going up the wheel. That was so unfortunate. And look at this. Norton, I mean Soul Crusher, sorry, was a 10th. But just taking that inner slopes put him up so many positions. He goes up to 4th almost there. I think went up to 6th.
Yeah, yeah,
That's very skillful, like just high risk, high reward gambit,
yeah.
and it paid off. Here he's fighting Power Pipes. Power Pipes is no pushover either. He's been very strong. Drones has been struggling a bit, but Power Pipes and Crux, who's not in this race, the two of them has been really carrying the team. These two are still fighting, Joda and Corpseless.
Corpseless seems to just not be able to just quite get it done at this stage, but we've got a little bit to go before the final result. Who are you backing, Joda or Corpseless?
I'm backing Joda for sure. He's my teammate.
Yeah, it's kind of a trick question, that isn't it?
That is true. You can see poor Norton all the way at 10th. He's behind me even though I had a bad, rough time as well. That's so unfortunate. Speaking of Joda, that he can take any car and push it to a limit. He's using solid muscle, not considered one of the highest tier cards. Yes, yet he can put up a fight against Corpseless, who is using arguably the best car in the game. Which is not to say anything less of him as a racer. He's an amazing racer, which is why he's been winning consistently.
Yeah, because as I understand, he's not the only Jesco driver in this race.
That is also true. F's in this race. Unfortunately, he didn't record it, I don't think. But you can see him having a bit of a rough time as well. Even though it's the same car. Again, it's not just a car.
Yeah, so that
Um,
shows you that it's not just a pick this car and you win situation. You've still got to be able to use it to its best and push it to the limit.
that is true. That is true. If you look at the scoreboard just now, he went from 4th down to, I believe, 6th or so. So, yeah, there's a fight going on back there.
Oh goodness, this is so close.
Absolutely. See,
Like Joda just can't
these guys are.
relax.
Yeah, he cannot. He has corpses right behind him, and they're both risking at taking the inner slopes and all that. Soul Crusher's back at 5 already from 10th, 4th even.
That's an
Wow.
amazing
Now
effort. What a fight.
that is insane. That's pretty difficult to pull off. I was back there with him, and he was just gone the next minute.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to look at it, but Animax also had to climb up to third. He was down to 9.
Oh
Oh no!
no! Little bit of
Vector!
push and shove.
Ah, that's so unfortunate. He's driving the 24 hours, which people have complained is a bit of a paper car. So at a slightest touch, Norton,
Oh
no, the other
no!
VHR member. Ah, that's so unfortunate. See, he took that gambit, but this time it didn't pay off. Unfortunately, steered just a little too close to the right and he fell off.
Joda looking quietly confident.
That's true. No sign of corpseless. Maybe he fell behind a little bit. Soul Crush is trying to reach Animax. You can see Animax and Corpseless, the two Neostorm members, doing pretty well in their track. So that's nice to see. I wonder if Soul Crusher can catch up to the podium at this point. He's really, really
It's
pushing it.
definitely within the realms of possibility on this track. As I say, at the start, it was anyone's game, and even though we're on the last lap, it still feels that anyone could take it. So we'll have to wait and see.
It's true. Oh, is this another close call? Oh, yeah, it is. That's Red
Woof!
Raptor and Norton.
Would have felt the
Me and
breeze off
Xeno
that
almost
pass.
hit him. That is true. Ooh, you can see I'm having a hard time with these turns with my dragster car. I have to fight Ivan and Xeno here. Ooh, a bounce there. That has nothing to do with how you landed. Just for some reason, after some landings, cars can bounce up. Luckily, Xeno didn't get messed up too much off of that.
Oh, look at that perfect drift.
These guys are in sync, yet Corpses has draft advantage here, but Joda has 3 boosts instead of 2. So they're pretty much on equal grounds here.
Yeah, and as long as he's able to maximize those boosts at the right opportunities, I think he should be able to maintain that lead.
Absolutely. And Joda is the guy for that. See here again, people are trying to pass Soul through taking that inner risky maneuver, you can say. And it looks like F snatches 4th position out of him. Oh, there I go. I do the same gambit and I managed to pass Ivan and Xeno.
Brilliant work.
Oh, wait, thank you. When you're far back, you kind of have to risk it sometimes.
Yeah, that's it. If you're already sort of a little bit further back, it's worth taking that risk for the extra points. Oh,
What a fight, the last 2 corners.
it's
Looks like Joda
absolutely
has it.
tooth and nail at this stage.
Oh, and they
Oh,
both have a nice flying finish for 1st and 2nd. Here comes Animax. He solidified his 3rd position relatively early on and just kept it. That's very impressive as well.
very solid
Even
and
though,
consistent driver.
even though everyone else is, it's hard to tell from the video, but they're right behind him, like a second or 2 off.
Yeah.
And Gary and their Soul are fighting for 4th.
Oh,
Power Pipes. Oh no. Looks like Power Pipes got a little messed up there. But it's okay. He kept 5th at least. There we come. Xeno, Ivan, and me. Looks like I snatched 7th place just at the very end there. Ah, Xeno almost falls off. But great finish.
and like, there's no
Unfortunate.
passion lost, even at the back of the pack. It is still, people are really pushing it to the limit, which it's wonderful to see.
That is true. And you never know. Like, unfortunate stuff can happen to anyone. So you have to keep going just in case you can just make it back. Like Soul did.
Yeah.
And here we go. The 2 Neostorm members and my teammate Joda. Congratulations on the win, buddy.
Well done.
And you can see, thanks to me, at 7th position there, the points between Cynic and the Neostorm are coming closer. But looks like we still have the lead, so that's great
Yeah,
to
that
see.
gap is closing up a little bit.
That is true. And if you look at the points here, 155 for Syndicate, 149 for Neostorm, like we discussed. Pretty close. Riptide is 118. BHR is not that far behind at 111, even though they had a pretty unfortunate showing this time with, as you can see, Norton at 10, Zector at 12. And followed under those, don't forget, the first four people get to move on to season three, but the last two teams get eliminated. So bandits and
Ooh,
drones
pressure's
really have to
on.
pull it up. Absolutely. And again, the points are pretty close, so it's anybody's game for third and fourth place.